Airsoft friends, and welcome to this video today, where today I'm going to be doing some cheeky upgrades to my KWA Mod 1. Like I've said in previous videos, I've actually become quite smitten with my KWA Mod 1, and I think it's about time I gave it the old Titan / Maxx trigger upgradey business, which I did to my Crytek CRBO, of which I have it right here. So you can see this is my Crytek here, and you can tell by the shiny red trigger that is inside the gun right there, or even so right here, the shiny red trigger, you can tell it's pretty sick, and there's not much trigger movement in there, and oh my days, it's absolutely beautiful. And I really want to have that same kind of like trigger response activation kind of business in my Mod 1 that I have in my Crytek, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. Here is the rifle which I'm going to be putting my upgrades into. Like I said, it is my KWA QRF Mod 1, and I've been really enjoying this, and it's a bit surprising that I've been enjoying it so much, because I'd say it's probably like an MP5 style gun, because the magazine comes out kind of like a little bit of a banana, and it doesn't take M4 mags, and yeah, it's the first non-M4 rifle SMG type thing I've used, which I actually do really quite like. And because of that, I felt like it was time for me to give it a trigger upgrade and give it a MOSFET upgrade as well, because Titans are just absolutely awesome. Now, I will be doing some test shooting with my attack sense targets using this and also the Mod 2 to see if the trigger and Titan upgrade actually improves my performance. Now, I know some of you out there may be like, why don't I do it with this rifle as it is, then do the upgrade and then test it again? And the reason being is that the rifles are exactly the same. The only difference is the actual shape of the lower receiver and the magazines that the rifts take. Apart from that, these are identical. Like, I can literally put the upper receiver from that rift onto this rift. You know what? I'm in a mood to make a video, so I'm going to do the checking of this now. I'm going to show you every single step that you need to do to upgrade your trigger unit in here, both the trigger itself and the MOSFET attached to it, and yeah, we're going to have a good time. Although I have never done one of these rifles before. I've never taken a gearbox apart from a KWA rifle, so that is going to be a bit new to me. There may be a bit of a learning curve. Hopefully things don't go terribly wrong and I get delayed. Fingers crossed it just goes all nice and smoothly. So without further ado, let's just start cracking this open. To kick this process off, I need to take this pin out here, and that is going to allow me to take off the upper receiver of the rifle. Now, I want to take off battery extension tube. These are available at Project Airsoft as well, and these allow you to put bigger batteries in your QRF type rifts. Also fit in the TK45, the non-recoil version, and also the Ronin 47. And I'm going to take off the actual stock itself too. Now, looking inside here, there is a screw down in there, so I'm going to remove that, which I think will allow me to remove the actual outside tube of the like the kind of like stock buffery tubey kind of thing. Some of these things I don't actually know the technical words for, so I'm just going to point them out and say words which hopefully kind of are at least some amount of accurate. This is the backside end of the gearbox itself. I will actually take the spring out now while we are here, and you can do this just with your hand. All you do is you come down here, use the hand, like the palm of your hand, push it in, twist it out just like so, and then you can remove the spring guide and the extra tension as well. The great thing with the QRF rifles is they have that like you can adjust the FPS on it with the little Allen key that's in there, and that's one of the features I really love about this. Like literally this bit here, if you put in a little Allen key in there and screw it up, this actually pushes this out and shortens the spring and gives it more tension, so you can give yourself a few more FPS if you want to in the field. It's really nice for dialing it in, like to get your FPS absolutely perfect. This is going to have to come off so it doesn't become an issue later on. We've kind of pretty much sorted out the back side of that there. We've got the mag release here, and that's going to be that come out just like so. I don't think I need to do anything with this second mag release, because that doesn't seem to be interacting at all with the gearbox. Then there's a pin here which I want to take out. Now you can tell the right side of the wrong side because there's a little bit of knurling on one of the sides of the pin. If I come down here, you can see this side is knurled, which means it wants to go out that way. Now let's get the motor out. Boom, just like that, we have got the gearbox out of the lower receiver. And that was actually pretty painless. And now, let's get this side of the gearbox off. Goodbye, warranty sticker. And now we have got our opened gearbox, and the trigger here is the area which we're going to be focusing on. We are going to remove this gear though as well. There is a O-ring on there, but we're going to remove that to the side for now. I do need to remove that there. I'm going to take the whole trigger unit out for now, and then we'll get onto it. So I'm going to get out my little screwdriver, and we're going to start removing these screws and getting this trigger unit out of the gearbox. Job is like pretty much half a good one. So we're going to remove that, remove that, remove that, remove that, and get all of this away because we do not need any of this at all. I'm going to have a quick review of the quick start guide just to make sure. Insulation washer, and then the metal washer, and then the screw. So we want to get that, make sure that we do that in the right order. Now we're going to be attaching the stickers, and one way that you can find this, which is quite helpful, is if you look on the back of the board, you see these 3 sensors here. Now these 3 sensors are the sensors that pick up where the white label is on the fire selector to let the Titan know what fire mode it is currently in. And to know where exactly on this big bit here to put those labels, if I kind of roughly mount the Titan, I can see the little bits are quite low. So I'm going to put my sticker on this lower portion of the fire selector there. So we want to stick it to the left side and low. So that is pretty much going to be, I'd say that looks pretty much perfect. Just like that, our fire selector is now back in place. We don't need those stickers anymore. Now let's get the Titan back in, and we will get the mounting screw on there, and we're going to screw this bad boy into place. I feel like this screw is way too big for that little tiny hole. I'm going to take one of these screws that were the original screws, and I'm actually going to cut it down to be the same depth as the Titan screw. There we go, perfect. Right, I don't want to do too much, because if you do too much, then it could potentially damage the board. Now, it is a rear wide unit, which means this is going to go to the back of the riff, and we've got our 2 motor wires here, our negative and our positive, which we need to get down into our little motory holes. I want to do these in the order that they are. So this is the bottom wire. So this wants to go on the bottom of everything. And I'm going to push it down as far deep into these channels as it possibly can go. The deeper you push it, the more space you're going to have for your other wires. And also the more it's going to automatically just be held in place by that friction, by that tension of being at the bottom with the walls against it. I'm going to put the little one in the middle. That in there now. It is time for the negative motor wire to now join the others on top of the stack. Just like that. And you know that's done well because all of the wires are staying in place. Now I want to get my Maxx trigger, because the trigger is going to go on top of the base plate of the gate, and these triggers just install exactly the same as you would do a normal trigger, and that's him in there just like so. With the trigger now, I'm going to put the anti-reverse latch back in and the little bevel gear back in as well, and then I want to take this gear and put that back into place as well. Now I can put the top side of the gate tied on, and that's going to pretty much complete the build for us. That seems to be good. Everything seems to be going well. So I'm now going to do all the steps I've just done in reverse, and then we're going to come back and calibrate the Titan. So here we are in the software now. We've come to the selector page, and we can check now to see if our fire selector is working. So currently we are on safe. That's correct. If I go to semi, yep. And if I go to full, oh, it works. Yes, look at that. Now if we come to the trigger as well, let's make sure that that looks like it's working. And hey, it is. We have got full range of motion on there. Well, kind of full range of motion. We've got 2 of the 5 which aren't currently, you know, like working because the trigger is covering it. However, the trigger is going to cover more of those sensors anyway once we get it all kind of like super fine trigger. Not like feather ultra thin fine, but you know, just like quite fine, you know, quite fine. Enough movement so when you pull the trigger, you know it's done something, that kind of fine. Well, in that case then, if everything's working, let me just quickly put a battery into it, and we'll do a few test shots just to make sure that, you know, everything is actually cycling. Because again, like I said, there's nothing worse than putting a riff back together again and then it just does not work. It's the worst thing ever. Now it is completely clear, so we are safe just to pop off a couple of shots. That is a lot snappier than it was before. I don't have any clips of what it was like before, but that is definitely snappier. And this is on full auto. That is nice. Oh, actually, you know what we can do? I can put a battery in the Mod 2, because like I said, it's got the exact same internals, so we can see the difference between the Mod 1 with the Titan in, and then the Mod 2 just like completely stock. The Mod 1 with the Titan in is definitely snappier. Like, I don't know what it's like on the edit, but just doing it here, it is 100% snappier. Definitely definitely snappier, and that is just from changing the MOSFET over. And not just like just from changing the MOSFET over, because the MOSFET is quite a big deal, to be fair. The trigger definitely isn't impacting any of like the snappiness to how it sounds, or like, you know, how the actual internals are working. That's more of a user preference, I would say, to how those goes down. But the trigger itself, not only does it look cool, but I do have a ton of customizability with that as well. Now, I mentioned earlier the trigger is currently covering up some of the like the trigger sensors inside the Titan, as I showed you in the app. And what I can do is there's actually a little grub screw here and a grub screw here on the Maxx trigger, which will change where the trigger starting position is and also stop where the end stop is. So at the minute, the trigger can go all the way down here like that. And what I'm going to do is make the start point more further back like this, and then alter the final traveling of the trigger as well. So it's just going to be like this amount of movement here, and that is going to be everything I'm going to have in the trigger. Maybe not even that much. I literally want to have it just on that last light sensor, and yeah, that's going to give me the trigger response that I want. Oh man, I'm very hyped about that. And you know what, as builds go, getting that upgrade in there, getting the trigger and the gate titan in there, it was much easier and faster than some of the other upgrades that I have done. So KWA, thank you very much for making this rifle easy to work with. Oh my days. Seriously, it makes upgrading things so much easier when they're easier to work with. In terms of the module, I was using the Gate Titan Basic. I do have the Expert in my Crytek, but I found that I actually have all of the features that I really want to use in the basic version of the module. And there's essentially two features that I like to use. One is the adaptive braking, which gives you a better kind of like cycle in your rip, and the other one, as you know, is the trigger preferences, and using the little light sensors to set the trigger to have that sensitivity as, you know, good as you want it to be. Because the thing that I found with, like, you know, upgrading guns and that is having the gun just be more responsive to you is, you know, kind of like half the battle. You can have naffy hardware inside, but if when you pull the trigger, the movement feels right and it actually does what you want it to do when you want it to do it, then you're onto a winner. You really, really, really are. When you have rifts that have squidgy triggers that have so much movement in it, and like, you know, the shot takes place halfway through that or near the end, it's not really a fun experience. I don't really like that. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to tune the trigger in this video here, just because that's going to be me just turning a couple of grub screws and getting it so the trigger doesn't move anywhere near as much as it is moving already. So yeah, I'm going to do that in my own little private time, and for now that's going to be this video over. So thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you check out Project Airsoft. There's tons of stuff on there. I'm even selling hot probbers now. The Prometheus purple hot probber, which I use in all of my AEGs. I've got it in my Mod 1, I've got it in my Crytek, I've got it in the upper receiver that's currently now on the Mod 3. I bloody love that hot probber, and you will too, so go check them out on the website right now. Huge shout out to all my patrons for supporting the channel month on month. You guys are amazing, and if you want to become a patron, support the channel and get entered into exclusive giveaways, then all you need to do is click the link in the description below, head over to the Patreon and join one of the tiers. If you join the Legend tier or the Royalty tier, you'll get entered into the giveaway every single month, and the Royalty tier also gets a free patch every single month as well. Isn't that sick? So yeah, go be a Royalty or a Legend member right now. And if you want to make some Airsoft friends, check out the StayFreshShoe community Discord server as well. Again, linked in the description below. And if you want to pick up some of the stuff that I use on a daily basis, check out my Amazon list in the description below as well. All of the things in there. Use the links. When you do, you support the channel, because I get a couple of P for everything that gets bought through those links. So yeah, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And until next time, thank you for watching this video. Remember to call your hits, and I'll see you in the next one.